Something massive is happening in India's job market, and honestly, it's unfolding faster than almost anyone saw coming. We're talking about a huge shock to the system, and it's all being driven by technology and a rapidly changing economy. So let's dive in and figure out what's really going on.
Just think about this number for a second. In 2025 alone, we've already seen announcements for over 50,000 layoffs from major companies in India. Now, that's not just a statistic. It's a huge signal that a deep, rapid transformation is hitting the workforce right now.
And we're not talking about small, unknown companies here. This is happening to the big players, the household names. You've got tech giants like TCS, and you've got the innovators that have really defined India's modern economy, like Paytm and Ola Electric. When cuts are happening at this scale, at companies this prominent, you just can't ignore it. So this all brings us to the big question we're trying to answer here. Are we just watching a disaster unfold, a kind of catastrophe fueled by AI? Or is this something else entirely? A really painful but maybe necessary evolution in the whole world of work. Let's break it down. To really get it, we have to look past those alarming headlines. We need to unpack all the different forces that are actually driving these decisions. Because believe me, it is not as simple as just blaming one thing. What we're seeing is basically a perfect storm of factors. First, you've got the super fast adoption of AI and automation, which is just, well, it's taking over tasks humans used to do. Then, on top of that, you have major companies totally restructuring, rethinking their entire workforce. And then you add in a growing mismatch between the skills people have and the skills companies need. And to top it all off, clients are tightening their budgets. Put all that together, and you get the situation we're in today. Now, there's a really crucial concept here called silent layoffs. This is about the job cuts that you don't always see in the headlines. It's when routine tasks just get automated away, or when projects get delayed and put on hold forever. It's a much quieter way of reducing the workforce, but it is just as powerful, especially in the tech world. And if you want an example of the sheer scale of this, look no further than TCS. We're talking about a single company reducing its workforce by about 12,000 people. That's not just a simple cost-cutting move. No way. It's a huge strategic decision that shows a fundamental reshaping of how work gets done across the entire industry. Right, so these layoffs don't just happen in a bubble. They create these massive ripple effects that spread out and touch the entire country's economy. And the immediate impact is pretty clear, right? When thousands of people lose their jobs, they stop spending as much. That hits sectors like retail and real estate really hard. The job market suddenly becomes incredibly competitive, and it puts this immense pressure on our social safety nets. But here's where it gets complicated, because while the short-term pain, the lost income, the reduced demand, is very, very real, there is a potential long-term gain. This kind of disruption could actually lead to a huge boost in productivity. It could push the whole workforce toward higher value, more future-proof jobs. It really is a classic double-edged sword. Which leads us to, a pretty pivotal question. Is it possible to navigate this incredibly disruptive time and actually come out stronger? Can this shock actually lead to real, sustainable growth down the line? This is where we have to reframe how we're thinking about this. It's less about seeing it as some temporary crisis we just have to survive, and more about recognizing it as a permanent, fundamental transition. So let me be really clear. What we're seeing in 2025, it's not a temporary downturn that's just going to bounce back. This is a deep, structural change to the job market itself. The old rules are literally being rewritten by AI and automation. And that brings us to what might be the single most important message from all of this. The right response here is not to panic. It's to be prepared. This is the moment to stop reacting out of fear and start acting with real intention. So, what does being prepared actually look like? Let's open up the playbook. We're going to get into some clear, actionable guidance for navigating this new world of work, both for us as individuals and for the country as a whole. Okay, so for you as an individual, the path forward really comes down to three key things. First, it's not enough to just learn how to use AI tools. You have to combine that skill with deep expertise in your specific field. Second, you've got to focus on building adaptable skills that machines can't just easily copy. And third, you have to truly embrace a mindset of lifelong learning. So what do I mean by adaptable skills? We're talking about the truly human stuff, right? Things like complex problem solving, designing totally new systems, actually understanding and interpreting data, and being able to communicate your ideas clearly. These are the skills that are going to be in high demand no matter what.
And this idea of lifelong learning, it's totally changed. It's not about getting one degree and then you're done for life. Now it's about this continuous process, taking short, focused courses to stay up to date, and then applying that new knowledge in real-world, on-the-job projects.
But look, individuals can't do all of this alone. It's not all on you. There's a huge role for policy to play here. We need stronger public reskilling programs. We need better unemployment support. All of these things are essential to help people move through these transitions without falling through the cracks.
And this is the hopeful part of the story, okay? This transition isn't just about jobs being destroyed. The economy will absolutely create new roles, new industries, and new opportunities that, frankly, we can't even imagine yet. But, and this is a really big but, those new jobs are not going to automatically fill themselves. We have to act now as individuals and as a society to build the skills that are going to be required. We have to consciously build a bridge from the workforce we have today to the workforce we're going to need tomorrow.
So I'll leave you with this. The jobs of tomorrow are definitely coming. The future isn't set in stone. The real question is, are we, as individuals, as companies, and as a country, are we ready to do the hard work it's going to take to build that bridge and get there?